هلا بالخميس هلا بالخميس ويكند عيال هلا بالخميس هلا بالخميس هلا بالخميس ويكند عيال هلا بالخميس.
بسم الله والحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه ومن استنى بسنة إلى يوم الدين ثم أما بعد. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. هلا بالخميس, it's ليلة الجمعة, and the sun is about to rise on the best day of the week, the day in which Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam teaches us to increase in our salawat. Call it durood, call it salam, call it salawat. We have to increase in that on this day because it is presented to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. It's the day where we get to wear our Sunday best, and some of us just look for that day, any opportunity just to dress up. Barakallahu feekum. Alhamdulillah, we are having tonight a very interesting discussion. It's part 3 of the Qabiltu checklist, and it has to do with getting to know your spouse or trying to figure out how the opposite gender navigates things and does certain things. But before we do that, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh to my brothers in studio with me this evening. Barakallahu feekum.
Alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
How's things going this week?
Alhamdulillah. Good.
Alhamdulillah, getting there.
One more
Almost
week left.
done.
One more week for exam, for school holiday.
Yeah, we close a week before the normal school, before the Trump.
Alhamdulillah. No, but I'm a bit just omgekrap, man. This load shedding is just...
Yeah.
Load shedding is like really taking its toll on me because you go somewhere, you know, you like assign 10 minutes to do a certain task and then the card machine doesn't work or the parking boom doesn't open or like we were sitting in darkness here till 10 minutes ago. But Alhamdulillah, I mean, I asked the domestic at the back when it gets dark, aren't you scared? She told me in Zimbabwe we don't have electricity.
Yeah.
Right, we have paraffin lights. So
villages,
what we have, it's like what other people dream of. And I think this is really important that we show gratitude for what we have, inshallah ta'ala. So men are from Makkah, women are from Madina. And I think before we go into the core of the discussion, inshallah ta'ala, there are a few disclaimers that we want to say.
No, you go for it, inshallah.
You want to sign a disclaimer?
No, go for it.
So number one,
speak on our behalf.
Personally, I don't claim to be the expert of the other gender, right? Neither do I even claim to be the expert on men. But you know, I can share my own experience, and obviously, what we're sharing this evening, inshallah, it's studies. You know, studies that people conducted over years. Marriage counselors have experienced certain complaints and certain mulahadat, you know, certain observations with regards to the opposite sex. And definitely, I think it's important for us to start on the foundation, the Quranic foundation, وَلَيْسَ الذَّكَرُ كَالْأُنْثَى, that a male is not like a male is not like a female. We're different. But then at the same time, Maulana Ebrahim, the Prophet ﷺ says that we are shaqaiq. We are twin halves. We are siblings. So how do we, like, we're not the same, but we're also related?
Biologically, perhaps the same? Not biologically. No, what am I saying? We are the same in regards to spirituality, closeness to Allah, but biologically we are different.
And that biological difference has an impact on the way we do things.
So biological, physiological, psychological differences. But as slaves of Allah, we are all the same. You know, my ibadah is not more worth to Allah or more beloved to Allah than that of my wife.
Yeah.
Well, Ebrahim, do you think one can really 100% understand the opposite sex? Impossible.
Impossible.
Yeah. It's like the scholars of Aqidah say, min al-mustahilat. Those things that are from the logical impossibilities,
Also,
And
are
try.
we required? Are we required to understand them or just love them?
Allah, that is deep, nah. That is deep. That is deep.
No, but I mean, I think the problem and the quarrels and the fighting comes in when we try to logically approach what the spouse is doing.
Yeah.
True.
You understand? We try to make sense of it,
Mm.
and they try to make sense of the way you do things.
But our logic is also based on experiences and what we've witnessed, man. From the past, in your household, from your parents. And you know, when the old people used to say, or our parents used to say, and they used to get advice that "Hou maar jou mond as jou man praat." They didn't mean that you should keep quiet, man. At that specific moment, you keep quiet. Because when I grew up, my father used to say whatever he wanted to say, and I didn't know that privately they're gonna convene with this discussion, but in the room, and my mother's gonna have a say. Until I grew up and I saw, nah, my pa is regtig. My man and my ma actually
She
say
has
so when they said you keep your mouth, it means that do not at that specific time do not utter something because you might be it might come out in the wrong way.
Yeah.
You might say something that you're gonna regret later and you can't take back later.
Yeah, like Umar ibn Khattab says, the fire and the water.
Yes.
One has to be fire, one has to be water.
Yes.
So if both is water, both is fire at the same time, then it's a bit of a problem.
You know, we've been doing this is now part 3, no? This is part 3. So we kind of now when people see me on the podcast and then I know this is computer. Wallah, you said we're not experts. We're not. This is a reminder for ourselves first.
Another disclaimer: we're not the best of husbands.
Yes.
We're trying.
We're trying.
I thought you guys are the best of husbands. That's why I two of you. Yeah, I know. I'm not the best.
I don't want my wife to lay in front of the computer now, the laptop with a fist.
Fighting on a pencil.
Fighting on a pencil. Yeah, we need no commenting.
No, but I think sometimes Mashaykh, there's these marriage courses, man. And the Mashaykh conducted, and then I look, for example, and I see this guy's been married 4 times. Right? Or 5 times. And we could judge and say, but how can he give a marriage course? And I mean, why not?
Yeah.
When he has the experience of 5 marriages, man. Yeah, and it's not always about
the perfection.
The perfection of it.
Yeah.
It's also about the recovery of a bad marriage.
Yes.
And being able to move on. Cape Town has this term that they have. Say the disappointment kid. There's maybe a sister 40, 50, she's never married. So you actually ask now, why did she never marry?
Disappointment.
She had a disappointment. So you're telling me she was never married, just somebody proposed and then the proposal called it off, and that had that impact.
Yes.
So somebody that actually gets married for the second time and the third time is really a strong person.
Strong person.
I remember a brother told me that he was going through some marriage issues, man. And so the Sheikh was counseling him. To find hij achterna, the Sheikh is divorced. Allah, that broke him. That broke him. How can you counsel me and my wife when you were divorced? Like, because people assume, we have these assumptions like divorce is an evil. Number 2, you must have been bad people. That's why you are divorced. And how can you tell me about marriage and stuff like that? But that obviously is not the reality.
But
I mean,
if you look at it, then he's the best to counsel you because he's got the experience.
He knows the pitfalls.
In other things, then we would say, you know what, this guy's got 10 years experience already. He's been through a lot. He's done it. He's got.
We consider the feather in his cap.
Yes. But now in this regard, you consider him to be a failure, and he can't teach you anything.
And also the way we look at marriage, man. Sometimes we look at maybe 2 students of knowledge marrying, a sister and a brother who are students of knowledge, or 2 huffaz get married, and you think that they will not have problems because they have the book of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with them. But it's not like that. We've mentioned, a few times that it's 2 human beings.
Yeah, complex.
Now you're away from the mihrab.
You knew salah brook in your vest.
Also,
no turban.
We are called insan. We are called Bani Adam. We are from the one that forgot. We are forgetful, and that's why we need those reminders. And that is why this podcast came about, to remind ourselves and the listeners, inshallah, and the viewers,
To be better husbands,
better husbands and better
inshallah.
wives.
ta'ala.
So Sheikh Yusuf and Sheikh Ibrahim, let me start off, inshallah. What
Inshallah.
does...
What does
I-
men? What women need to know about men?
Yeah, go for it, inshallah.
No, you're gonna.
No.
We're gonna start now because this is what we
Yeah.
want.
Uh.
And when we going to list these things and discuss these things, these are things that men generally want. Man. Because sometimes, like the last time we spoke about, men are visual, right? When they choose a spouse, it has to be
Pleasing to the
pleasing
eye.
to the eye. Whereas a sister, it doesn't need to. She can learn
She'll,
to love
she'll
someone.
say, I like his personality.
Exactly. But then a sister contacted us after the show and said, "No, I'm also visual."
Okay.
So what we're saying is that not everybody
Uh.
might fall under this
Rubric, yeah.
Yes.
rubric 100%.
Yes.
But this is generally
Generally the case,
what
yeah.
men want from women.
Khair, inshallah.
Fadda.
Point number 1. A man wants respect.
RESPECT.
Yeah. A man wants respect. 'n man wil jy kleintjie gemaak word vir almal.
That's why he doesn't ask for directions.
Yeah.
That's why he doesn't put his GPS on.
He wants respect, you
That's
know.
why when he buys a new appliance, he doesn't
It
read the
doesn't take out the
instructions.
manual.
Sheikh Ibrahim, you mentioned something last week, no? Dat alles bymekaar gesit en toe vergeet jy die skroefies. Or what?
No, I said I always have spare bolts when I'm done.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, then you know something's wrong.
Yeah. But you know, with respect also, I think that you and this might sound cliche, but you need to earn that. Man.
Yeah.
You need to give something in order to
get it,
gain
yeah.
that respect. If we look at a personality like Sayyidina Umar, radiallahu ta'ala anhu, when we speak about him, he was the what?
Ashaddum fi amri Allah was
Azay.
strong.
He was
and,
strong. But Sayyidina
Man's
Umar,
man.
Sayyidina Umar went to go sit in the masjid for an entire night waiting for Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam because his wife spoke back to him. And when he got him and he wanted to go
So they gave him
complain,
lip. Nobody gives him lip.
Wife gives him lip, yeah.
wife gives him lip. So
Yeah, so I mean, you know, he went to the masjid. He wanted to save his, you know, he wanted to preserve his self-respect. A man wants respect, man. You know, and that's, I think that's important for women to know.
Okay, so Umar goes to the masjid, radiallahu ta'ala anhu. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam finds Ali laying in the dust, Abu Turab. So is this a mechanism to deal with issues then when you are upset at home?
I think it's an excellent way. Walk away.
Walk away.
walk
You
away.
need to
yes.
walk away. The sunnah teaches us that when you're in a state of anger, walk away. Instead of saying something ugly, I went into the butchery yesterday, right? And as I was walking in, there was an uncle behind me and he had a fez and a beard. But the way that he spoke to his wife,
Yeah.
it was like ugly, man. I felt like bad. And he saw me with a thobe on. He saw me that
And
I
he-
saw him.
Did he feel bad?
I sensed that he felt bad because I didn't look at him also. He probably saw me somewhere. And I was speaking to the lady at the counter, you know, I want this and want that. And I saw him like he was speaking in a vulgar manner, man. Not like, you know, not like scalling, but like in a vulgar manner. He
You
was,
see,
he was
Ashik-
telling his wife, get into the shop.
Ashik, you get somebody who got married in the 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000, 2010, 20.
Yeah.
It's all different models. Man.
Yes.
And it's all different ways of speaking. But vulgarism is now.
No,
you
that
know,
doesn't have a place here.
like my grandfather, Allah yarhamu, would just say, tea. I mean,
I verstaan nie, vrou.
he used, yeah. Now they'll tell you, Ashik, use your words. Right? Or some people grunt.
And that would be considered as an order, no? You're ordering me because you're just saying tea. Exclamation mark.
Sy ways dat dit sê.
Yeah. It's not how you.
nie wat jy sê nie.
That sounds familiar. No? I see hoe jy dit sê nie, maar I see wat jy sê nie, man. Is hoe jy
Hoe
dit
dit
sê.
sê.
Right? And there's truth in that.
There's
truth in that. There's many ways to say something, and you don't know how it's perceived. So you must also check yourself in that regard.
So respect, Sheikh Ashik. I think what the sisters need to know is that give him a chance, man. Right? So, for example, he wants to fix the tap. Tap is leaking, and you know that he's not that way inclined.
Don't take his manhood away.
Two people at this table not inclined that way.
Yeah, definitely.
The third guy, mashallah, is
mashallah, skilled.
is skilled.
Knowledgeable.
I want to say a jack of all trades.
I'll make it analytic.
No, but he's better with. Now, if I must now go to the toolbox and take out the.
I don't have a
you know?
toolbox.
Okay. All right. Okay. Say I go to my daddy's toolbox. I take out the proper. I mean, what we would expect is that our spouse is not going to laugh.
Yeah.
All right, and I'm sure the sisters also want to see a bit of that from the husband. They don't want to see a pen pusher like a Taliban. You're sitting with Bukhari all day. Like once, one of my family members came to visit me. He's from up north, and he was moving. Right, so he can't even pick up his own stuff while he's moving. He says, "You know, Sheikh, the heaviest thing I lift is Bukhari."
Allah.
This type of attitude, man. I mean, it's like this white collar type of thing. I'm sure Sheikh have a white top on. But I mean, when it comes down to the institute has a function and you have to roll up your sleeves, I'm sure your wife is going to be proud of you, going to like that, get your hands messy instead of the guy with the white thobe and the white scarf clean.
Just sitting one
sitting and, you can't even move yourself. So when we speak about respect, it doesn't mean like, we use this term Sultan al-Bayt. But it's not Zalim al-Bayt.
Yeah.
When we say the leader, doesn't mean the oppressors, doesn't mean Fir'aun or Abu Jahl. It means a leader, Qawwam, takes the bull by the horns. So there's a certain type of respect that needs to come from the spouse, and this is necessary. If the husband feels that she second guesses everything he says,
that's why also for in every aspect, if in your faculty, if you the one that knows, if household chores, if that is her thing, then that is her thing. You can't mop like her. You can't wash the dishes. Daar's nog peanut butter op die lippe laat jy klaar opgewas het. Right? But sy kan nie pyn soos jou nie. And so in matters that you deal with, let me deal with that.
Yeah,
In
don't
matters
interfere.
that, there you go. Have that mutual understanding
Want
between
ek kan die klere ophang as jy my vrou hang het verkeerd op die kollers gaan nooit
terug raak.
There's this Instagram video. Then this brother is ironing his shirt like for a long period of time, and then the end product is not out of the critical, and then the wife just makes it, and then it's done.
Perfect. Yeah.
We're not saying that that's the job, but I'm saying there are certain strengths and weaknesses. So there's equality, but there's not we equal but not identical.
Yes.
Right. So this whole feminism move pushes for the two genders to be identical. But if you ask that same sister, do you want to be a bricklayer? Do you want to pick up the garbage? Do you want to, work on a garbage truck? Then no. So it's basically we want the sweetness, but we don't want the bitterness. We need men in our society. Who's going to mine? Who's going to go deep sea diving for, diamonds or whatever else is there at precious.
But also then you must then remember that a portion of society of men, in Afrikaans they say hulle gee krag weg.
Explain.
Because
that requires explanation.
Because that Maspala thing went through and I didn't even Maspala approach.
They let me say they assume the duty of the wife. And the wife assumes the duty of the husband. And that puts, I won't say puts us in a bad light, but that creates an imbalance.
Because there's a natural way. There's a natural.
Yes.
You have an inclination towards certain duties naturally. And we spoke about the stay-at-home dad. And we said that it can work if it's agreed upon.
An arrangement.
But that sister needs to be a special type of
sister.
And that brother needs to be a special type of brother because the roles are being changed.
And especially keep in mind that men, no matter how macho we act, right? We have fragile egos.
Yes.
We have fragile egos. And so if that is brought to your face, kyk agter jou, that's going to cause major problems.
So for example, so it's weekend. And the stay-at-home dad is at home and the wife's at home. And now she has a siblings over, a sisters over me. And now she tells him, bring this, do that, wash up here, sweep here. Like giving this. This is definitely
that's
problematic.
That's
a recipe for
disaster.
So
so respect, inshallah ta'ala. Never mock him. We mentioned that. Never joke about him in public. I always tell my wife, like,
you can joke all you want at home.
No. Besides the joking, never put me in my place in front of others.
Yes.
Never do that. That's if you want to put me in my place, you're super angry at me. Sy kan kwaad is vir my. You wait till we are alone and as jy vir my in skool. We're driving sit my in skool in. But never do it in front of your parents.
Sheikh, I want to laugh because this comes back to like supermarket, man. You have your colored approach to a kid. Kids nagging for a Coke. Right? And then I would say the African approach is very similar. And then you have your white approach. Tommy, we have Coke at home. Relax. You don't need to perform now. I think, and that is the type of approach.
That's the public approach.
So the husband wants that type of approach.
He wants that approach.
Look here,
and inshallah, if he receives the respect that he desires,
he'll love you.
He will love you and he will look after you and he will nourish you with his love.
Like one of the pious predecessors told the daughter, Kuni lahu amatan yakun laki abda.
Allah, mashallah.
Be to him a slave and he will be to you a slave. And when we speak about slave, we're not talking about obviously oppressor. If you subserve,
you need to choose your words.
Correct words. If you
subservient is right.
If you serve him.
Yeah. If you do something for him, he'll do for you.
Yeah.
You can't I mean, if you look at the Prophet ﷺ and Fatima is coming to complain about the chores at home, and she's thinking that the Prophet is going to give her a maid, a slave. The Prophet ﷺ gives her adhkar to make. So what does that show us? Is it really like we learn in marriage classes? You need to give my food and a woman needs to do nothing in the house. Is that like a unanimous approach? Because I think that's like what you hear. Any sister's gone to a marriage class.
That's the imams trying to win favor, man. Curry favor with the ladies. I think that's it. That's not practical, man.
It's a matter of exactly what we on about tonight, man.
It's not practical.
Makkah and females are from Madina. It's a societal issue,
man. We mentioned this, It comes back to the culture and the society and the norms.
The norms of society.
And imagine everything was black and white, man. Right? You need to give me a bowl of food. So if we really go back to black and white, so the sister must get one dress in the summer and one dress in the winter, and then the staple food with something to make this. So you're going to eat dal and rice basically every night. There's never going to be a steak because you're never going to mop, you're never going to clean, because this is not obligatory upon you. And to keep a marriage happy, you have to go over and beyond.
Yes.
It shouldn't just be a tick box of rights and responsibilities. That's going to be very mechanical and boring.
And when it comes to rights and responsibility or rights and obligations, everybody focuses on their rights before the responsibilities. Mothering.
Mothering. Okay.
Mothering. I think that's a big problem where the wife mothers the husband. He doesn't want that.
No.
Advice, shura. I think that's good.
That's in its place here.
Okay, there's a comment. Bring it up, Suhail, inshallah. What does the Makkah and Madina concept mean? Abu Bakr Alexander asks, what does the Makkah and Madina concept mean? Ebrahim? And keep your thought.
Okay, no worries.
Okay, so if we look at the hadith of Sayyidina Umar radiallahu ta'ala when they made hijrah, the influence of the Ansari women on the Meccan females at the time. It says in Makkah, we had control over our wives. When we say, they listen. When we made hijrah to Madinah, when we say, they say back.
So there was no lip in Makkah because that was the social norm.
Yes, he says the Meccans had control over their wives, but the Ansari females had control over their men, yeah.
So that was a societal norm.
That was a society.
And so therefore we say men are from Makkah.
Yes, and females are from Madinah. Also, we mustn't attach everything to deen, because look who's involved here. Sayyidina Umar and Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. That hadith, when Sayyidina Umar told his wife something and she told him something back, he wanted to go complain to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And as he enters and approaches the door of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he hears that Rasulullah's wife is giving him lip. And
Maulana, when you say we mustn't attach everything to deen, are we saying that not every pious person's marriage will be successful?
That's exactly what I'm saying.
And if the sheikh's marriage didn't last, It doesn't mean he's a bad sheikh or a bad
Yes.
person
Yes.
or a bad
Exactly.
whatever.
Did I look at it like this? Was everything that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, was everything wahi?
No, sometimes it was his personal opinion.
So not everything that that is in our lives is attached to Quran. We try to do it upon the Sunnah, but the societal norms that come into play, man. It is normal for a female in Cape Town. Also, they made, when we move from one place to another place, we found the females to be different. When we move from one era, one generation to another generation, we find the females to be different. It's got nothing to do with disobedience.
Strong word.
Yeah.
No, it's
You can't even use that word anymore. You disobedient. Imagine you tell your wife in 2022, just on gehoorzaam.
Ja, Allah.
so you
Ik
know
denk, ik is nog old school. Ik verbruik nog een woord in deze. Maaf.
You definitely have to drink some water.
Yeah, drink some water, yeah.
Maspal. What are you saying?
No, ongehoorzaam.
No, but what I
Strong
think,
words, man.
but also, when we read these type of ahadith in the lives of the Salaf, right, we see that how they understood the deen. You see, it's like Umar radiallahu anhu could have easily pulled rank on his wife and say, you know what? You know, the Prophet said X, Y, and Z. You know, the lady who prays the 5 prayers and fast, وَأَطَاعَتْ زَوْجَهَا, and she obeys her husband. Subhanallah, but look at his position with his wife, man.
He leaves.
He goes to the Messenger Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, seeking counsel from him, and he hears that the wife of the Prophet is speaking back to the Prophet, and he's thinking, Subhanallah, where am I? You know, the wife of the Prophet is speaking back to him. And so we see how they understood this deen. It wasn't like hadith being waved over the wife's head.
We have like a holster, man. With
ready, yeah.
Yeah.
Or do we have
Go for it.
Also, the hadith of the Battle of Khandaq, when I think it was Abu Ayyub al-Ansari, when his wife, when he went home and he said, look here, Rasulullah is hungry, he didn't eat, whatever. Look at the instruction. You go to Rasulullah, you tell him, your son meets here, he's invited. Don't invite a lot of people. Rasulullah invites everyone. But he got an instruction
From his wife, yeah.
from his wife.
Yeah.
He took the instruction because he went back and he said, look here, Rasulullah invited now everyone. And he was on his nerves. He was nervous because he didn't carry out the instruction.
As per the wife's and she's a Madini. She's from Madina.
She's from Madinah, yeah.
Sheikh, we have a question. I'm going to read it as it is here because I don't really understand the question.
Go for it.
When we have disagreement with our spouse, we always end up questioning our marriage. Very often, marriage gets questioned. Marriages that get questioned end up in divorce. Is that the question? When we have disagreement with our spouse, we always end up questioning our marriage. So I think this is a millennial problem. Is that?
Yeah,
I mean, like, if I look at my grandfather, right, Allah yarhamu, on a daily, man, they would scowl and they would go on with their lives, man. This question here, when we have a disagreement, I start questioning our marriage.
It depends what type
of disagreement.
I think if I have a disagreement with the food, I don't think that's gonna bring my marriage into question.
You're not gonna question, why did I marry this woman?
Exactly.
Is my marriage stable?
Yeah.
But I think, like Maulana Ebrahim said, as years go on, and people are more sheltered, right? I mean, when you used to play outside and you fell and passes off.
Last that she pen eat pa.
If you're lucky, man. And as speelde man net aan. First, they take you to the hospital, everything is... And so the girl gets told, remember, you have a father, you have a house, you have a this, you have a that. Don't put up with a man's nonsense, right? This is how I understand the question. You can't be second guessing a marriage for every quarrel.
But also, we must remember that this is two people that didn't know each other from above. So, if we take it upon the Sunnah, this is how they met and whatever. So he's accustomed to his household, and she's accustomed to her household. He was raised a certain way, and she was raised a certain way. To him, some things is important as a man, and as he was raised, and to her, some things is important, and it might not be in accordance with what is the importance. Might not be aligned. The biggest thing I think for us as couples and as married people is how to navigate that initial 5 years. We were
5
speaking
year
about
itch.
the itch, no? You know what that is about. Now I must get used to this cooking because I was used to a certain way of cooking. I must still navigate my way between my mother and my wife because my mommy says something and then I feel a bitchy. This is my mommy, man. My wife says something and I'm, this is my wife, man. And at the end of the day, you end up not pleasing anyone.
And it puts you in a bad space.
Yes. So all of that is find your zone, man. As a couple, find your zone.
You don't
and
mimic,
work from
man. I
there.
think that's the biggest problem. And I always say this: we mimic other marriages.
Yes, no two marriages is the
But
same.
I think that comes down to the fact that that's the only experience of marriage. Most people don't attend marriage classes, right?
Yeah.
And when I say marriage class, I mean like you mentioned, coaching.
Proper.
How to be married, not the fiqh.
Yeah.
I mean like coaching, how when disagreements, this is how you handle it, communication. We don't know these things. So obviously the only understanding of marriage that we have is our parents, grandparents, and we try to mimic that.
Yeah, I remember just before getting married, so my father-in-law sent me to classes with Shaykh Moulana. And he said one night, argue in front of your children. Don't argue always in the room. So that person grows up to think that his parents have never argued ever in their whole life.
Yeah,
so when he gets married,
that's a different way of looking at it.
So when he gets married, I'm not talking about arguing.
No, but
sort some things out in front of the kids because
that's teaching skill. That's teaching them a skill. Yeah.
Everything left for the room, the person doesn't see.
Yes.
Like you go into a bank, man. Everything is perfect. Everything is clean.
But you don't see the engine behind.
A bank opens at 8:30, but that person doesn't start working at
8:30.
These things
I just want to get back to Moulana's point before we pull up a comment. You talk about getting used to the other person. Can we then say, later or quarter? So when a person gets married in his 30s, he's more settled in his ways.
Yes.
People delay marriage.
Yes.
They get settled in their ways.
I've seen that's a big issue now.
Yeah.
They're getting married late. Because I know of a brother, he got married, close to 40, all right? And I think he was married for a year or something, or less than a year. And
I put him off marriage.
No, I think because he has lived for most of his life alone, he has developed so many habits that when someone new came into that equation now,
he couldn't,
let go of certain things,
So I can pull up the question. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Many a Muslim man or men are comparatively very cool-minded and easy in my view. Only now the modern world seems to seek the disparities between men and women. Tied to this, unfortunately, many young Muslim women's perspectives are then affected with regards to marriage. They become too critical.
True.
What do you have to say about it?
That's true.
So it's again the society's effect on couples, right? Everybody was quite happy, and then this whole feminist, and we find many feminists now saying, "Sure, why do we even
look at how
this?
they display the seerah? They would say, look at Khadija. They want to trace back the ideology, and they want to push it back to Khadija. She was a feminist of her time. She was a business lady. They're not telling you Khadija made
She was a single
mudaraba.
mother who had to do what she needed to do. She had to hustle. She had to
Exactly, And when we study the seerah, right, they say, look, she was successful, but they're not telling us she made mudaraba. She just gave the men, you do business. Here's the money, you do the business. They, give
that's
us this
not my
elaborate
place. That's not my fundamental place.
They give this elaborate picture, single, female.
As if she walked around with a briefcase of money,
Exactly.
the deals herself, travel to
walking
Syria
into
without
a boardroom and closing the deals and all of these things and paying everyone salaries.
Exactly,
So on the one hand, we shouldn't be mimicking marriages that we've witnessed, and on the other hand, we shouldn't be too easily influenced. By,
now I wanted to get to that. You see, we have a circle, and at times it's dangerous, man. The worst thing, in my opinion, is when you speak out of your house, man. That's the I can't deal with that.
Complain about your spouse to others.
Complain and brag. Both.
Yeah, both. Pet peeves. Wallahi, pet peeves.
Bragging is inviting, man. And complaining is also inviting. Right? In two different ways.
A crack. You leave a crack open for somebody else to.
Yes. And don't compare. I'm not your sister's husband. I'm not your friend's husband. I don't and wallahi, this is one of the biggest factors for divorce today, or for okay, let's not say divorce, man. Let's say for arguments,
Issues, yeah.
because you're being compared to some other. You don't know him.
And that's also part of disrespect.
It is.
I
It is
mean-
disrespectful.
We never go on holiday. Fulan takes his family every week, every
Yes.
month. But I'm doing the best that I can.
Exactly.
I'm doing, miracles with
What
the salary that I'm earning.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
But then Fulan takes his wife to holidays, but miskien, Allahu Alam.
They have other issues. There's other issues, yeah.
Yes.
True. Khair,
Well,
inshallah.
Sheikh, let's go on to
I
the
think
next
we need to put number 2 now. So number 1, sisters, inshallah, for the sisters that are watching, respect, inshallah. Is it a song that says, no? Or you
RSPECT.
Is it suck it in, suck it in, suck it in?
number 2. That's going to cause problems. Number 2. Men are created to provide, Sheikh.
Yeah,
Okay, there's
definitely.
2 questions. Go on, Sheikh. We are
Men
created.
are created to provide. That's our love language.
Yes.
We want to.
We want to provide.
So when the wife says, "But you never tell me you love me," but you can know
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's
I always tell that to my wife now. My wife asks me, how's the food? And I say, it's lekker. And she says, like, yo, what's lekker? Like, be more descriptive, man. And I say, like, this is how we operate as men. Right? We are very logical and very straight to the point, man. You're not going to find me, subhanallah, my beloved Zawja, this food was amazing, the aroma of the food. You're not going to get, besides the fact that...
But I picture you saying that.
Nah,
you are very eloquent. Why don't you bring a little bit? Okay, we always say the sheikh is not always what he is on the mimbar, but a little bit of the mimbar.
The mimbar, what the people don't understand is the mimbar is a persona, man. It's a zone that you go into.
Look,
But we can't be like that all the
do
time.
you know
man.
what? Wallahi, I was listening to a clip this afternoon. You're saying it's a persona. The husband says to the wife, he says, but I lie to them. I act. The wife says, lie to me as well. Act with me as well. No. She says, you know what? That he don't know that you're lying. He don't know that you're acting. He's getting the good of you.
I also want that good.
I also want that
But
good.
sometimes we want to be too brutally honest with our spouse, man. Right? So we would rectify in the manner of rectifying it. If we look at Amr bil Ma'ruf, it's always Amr bil Ma'ruf bil Ma'ruf. Ordering with good and forbidding the evil without causing another evil.
Yes.
بغير منكر. I think in the courting stage, you see something wrong, you might overlook it, or you might rectify it very nicely.
Yes.
But once you like settled in and
married and comfortable,
now you just like,
everything goes. Kitchen sink
trigger,
goes. Everything.
trigger happy. So I can bring up the comments of the questions, inshallah. My opinion is to always discuss matters with your partner, even if it's hard to speak about. Definitely. Definitely. I mean, there are marriages that has zero communication. And I think that is a recipe for disaster. Because, and I think before we discuss finance, friendships, family matters, and especially outside interference, and I agree with the gentleman about bragging and comparing with other marriages, 100%.
MashaAllah, I just want to...
The gentleman.
Yeah, MashaAllah, it's so beautiful though. That's a Moulana. Ebrahim. He takes these things very personally.
At least, just don't call it Buddha.
It's just not Buddha. Disclaimer, people, no Buddha.
No Buddha.
Shaykh, Moulana, Ustad, Muallim, Khalifa, Chief Pirsab, but not Buddha.
But no, 100%. There are couples that don't communicate at all, and I think it's because of the way we live. There's 2 streams of income now, right?
Yeah.
So the issue of and it's 100% Sharia compliant when the wife says, "My money is my money," 100%. Your money is my money, partially, also 100% correct. So so there's 2 cars. Everybody has a cell phone. There are 2 TVs. There's 2 everything, and so basically
we live past one another. Yeah, no, we're just physically together, but mentally, with our souls, we are.
Physically, no. What kind of marriages with no physical?
I mean, physically we are together.
Yeah.
But our souls and mentally we are not.
And our minds and concentration is totally different.
We disconnected.
Communication.
Sure, it's key. I can tell you that all the arguments that
That's because of lack
of communication. If only you said, man. It's a simple thing. It's a simple.
I don't have a problem, but
it's And then you realize afterwards it is a simple thing. If only I said, look here, I'm still here, I'm gonna be a bit, because you know what, wallahi, she's waiting for you. And she's worried and she's concerned. And the way that the client, don't laugh so hell, man.
Sheikh, you're gonna make me cry now. He's touching the strings of my heart here, man. The waist.
No, I'm being serious.
No, but put yourself in your wife's
yeah,
in your
wife's shoes, man.
So okay, now come, we do that quickly. She went with whoever, with the family members and whatever.
And she says she's gonna be back 10 o'clock.
She's gonna be 10 o'clock, and it's 11 o'clock, and she didn't say anything, and she's not reading the messages.
Crappy. Definitely.
Now, how are you gonna perform when she comes home?
Yeah.
But you don't think she can't perform when you come home that time. Do you understand? Or you didn't say anything
because you're the sultan.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You see,
plus I wasn't on work.
I think, the communication we can't put on autopilot. And this is something I learn daily. So I'm married 17 years. How many a lecture and how many a radio? It's like a weekly thing, a daily thing. And then sometimes your spouse is the last person to or like somebody say, oh, your man het mooi gepraat op die radio. I didn't even know he's on the. Now, I mean, it's like a daily thing, man. It's not like
easy,
but they still expect that.
Yes,
these type of things need to be
shared,
mentioned.
They need to be the first people. They must share it, man. Imagine, and we make that mistake because we get busy, man. It's not because you.
It's not intentional.
It's not.
Okay,
intentional.
so now somebody books you. Okay, lecture. Okay, so now the next person you say, "Nah, meet Moulana Ashik." I say, "Sheikh, I'm going to speak there, or you want to accompany me or join me." So by the time I get home, and because we have this thing in our hands, 50 people. Oh, you maybe at their status, WhatsApp status. I mean, this thing is so dangerous. I mean, we have heard of accidents where family members find out the person is dead before actually an official message has come to them. So I do have. Okay, continue.
Khair, inshallah. So, men are created to provide. We take pride in that fact if we provide for our families.
That's our love language.
Yeah, definitely. And that's why the Quran calls us the Qawwamun. Those who oversee and look after the
And that's why the husband will always check that.
Yeah.
Everything's fixed, that no taps are leaking.
Yeah. Inshallah. Hopefully, inshallah. And that's why also men are always concerned about finances. They can't die on demand because he get it right. So because that's how.
But that is generally, it could be that the husband is the spendthrift.
Yeah.
That's again, yeah. No.
We're speaking in general.
But there are exceptions. Yeah.
I've always, wallah, my friend would say but I mean, when my, reserves are dry, there's always something.
Always have.
Well, what does that have to do with
I don't know what they do. I don't know what they do. Wallah, I promise you, but they always have.
There's always a reserve.
Yeah. We don't know how, man. We just don't know how. We don't think there, man. They have this where they think ahead. Always. We here in the moment, we look here. And because you want to provide and because you want to give her the best, you don't really check on the finances, so you give. But nou is mos nou dom, jy het iets gekoop van R1,000 en dan môre moet jy R200 se petrol.
No, but really, I don't know. You can agree or disagree with me. If I look at my mother and I look at my wife, and though I'm a student of knowledge, and maybe they even heard the hadith from me, their tawakkul is like something else, man. Like if the money is short, then my wife will say, give sadaqah.
Yeah.
You think, is it really short? Unfiq alayk, as Allah says in the hadith, give, and I will give. But then you think about that 50 rand that we have, if I give 10 rand, it's 40. But they don't think like that, man.
Yeah.
I found this with my mother. I found this with my wife. I don't know if it's a general approach, but if an auntie hears something on the radio, man, or she heard something at the Al Furqan class or whatever,
gives.
It's like law, man. It's like, I'm
the one that said it,
he's not always. He sometimes have gaps and cracks. Okay, Moulana Ashik, go on to the next one, inshallah. Very important one.
Easy now, people. Get ready for this. Naam. Age discretion. Sex empowers men.
Definitely.
And I think I think this is the most important one over here.
It's
Focus at hoe speel bal binti ka namin siya ba?
I was playing with my beard the whole time.
so can we say that's part of respect?
Yes, it's part of respect because
He feels,
he feels honored, he feels
Loved.
respected, and he feels love. Yeah.
and that's the difference between a male and a female.
Mm.
At the height of an argument, you can be ready.
Yeah.
But for what? Ish هذا يعني. I mean, there's something called makeup intimacy.
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And for many, that's the best type of intimacy. A man can kwaad wees, but he can still perform.
Yeah.
What's up with this
I
guy?
don't know.
Didn't he want to bring up this?
This is his
This
notes.
is his
no?
notes.
This is his notes.
But it's different, man. Now, what we need to understand is that this is very important for the man.
it is.
And
Wow.
so,
That wasn't very professional of me to laugh. It's people. I hope the people are also laughing. But no, definitely, inshallah. And sex is such an important and integral part of marriage that I think either too much of it or a lack thereof causes great problems in a marriage.
Yeah.
And this is across religions
Yeah.
and ethnicities. It is an important aspect of marriage.
I love you mentioned religious
Yeah.
because some people, because Islam has such, such important rules with regards to, not falling falling into zina, right? Some people who now don't speak Arabic think that intercourse is called zina.
Yeah, equate it, yeah.
They equate it.
Yeah.
Die man wil net zina met my married man. Have you heard that?
Yeah, no,
You
no.
old people speak like that.
Yeah,
Die man wil net zina.
Moenie stinkerig gesê.
Ons oud. So,
No,
like
true.
there's
Yeah.
a religious.
It's like a taboo topic.
It's a taboo topic.
Now, I can be honest, no, I've never heard that topic from any of my like parents or like grandparents, but like I can remember the only statement that I heard from my grandma was like, moenie stinkerig gesê, moenie stinkerig goed te praat nie. It was like totally taboo.
My grandmother said again, no body parts. When you put from
Yeah, it's like totally, it's like a culture that they grew up in, man, where these things are not discussed. And I think this also this is a great reason for divorce in our communities. And it's a great reason why men fall into zina.
Like Khudayfa al-Amariki a few months back, he said the problem, the ultimate problem is finance and the
Bedroom.
bed.
Yeah.
Anything else stems from that.
Those two, yeah.
But it's
That's
but it's also called satisfaction, man. You must be not, and it's not one-sided because this marriage is not two people.
yeah.
So just like you want satisfaction from that specific from intimacy, you need to then also satisfy. And that is when it comes to look, I was an imam at a masjid. Sheikh Yusuf is an imam at a masjid. We students of knowledge. People ask us certain things, and a lot of times it is because the husband is like, "This is
Just
look here. This is my right.
This is my right, yeah.
This is my right."
And
So
the
you're
focus is too much on the rights.
Again, yeah. It's pure.
I mean, look, like we said now, in the heat of an argument, he can perform. But we can't expect the same from
Exactly.
our spouse because
Exactly.
that intimacy starts already from the time you got home from work. How you greeted her, how you put
Yes.
your bag down, how you trapped the dirt in.
And wallahi, when you walk in, they look at how you enter the house, no? Because that is how
So
they're
you
gonna
can
approach you.
gauge.
If you, then they know. I don't know.
No, definitely, yeah.
Prophet also says we mustn't treat our woman like like cattle, man.
Yeah.
It's not just an object or an individual to fulfill
And then,
desire. So there's no communication.
Mm.
Right? You came home late. You said you're going to be 10 o'clock, but you didn't leave a message that you a bit late. So you arrive at 12 midnight. And then now you say, is my hak.
As my hak, ja.
Sultan al-Bayt.
Die Nabi Islam het gesê,
Die Nabi gesê, 'n vrou wat vir my wat
refuse.
refuse,
Kus.
malaika kus.
Of course, yeah.
hy gaan dit wat out of context
That's
abuse.
one of
All
the hadith that's in the holster, man.
Yeah.
Ready, yeah.
We have the set hadith, man. Innamal a'malu binniyat, so that
Yeah.
just fixes everything. You can do anything, it comes back to intention.
Intention.
And then the husband has this bag of tricks.
Yeah.
You know, if Allah had ordered anybody to bow down to
Absolutely.
anybody,
Bow
it would have been the
down to me.
husband to the wife. What was Sheikh?
So,
We still on this point 3.
yes, intimacy is important. And also, if we look in our Sharia, right, we see that the Prophet ﷺ addressed with the most adab. He addressed this topic in the most. He gave us many details.
Yeah.
You know, so many details about the
And it's
topic of
criticized
intimacy.
for it from other religions.
Exactly.
Because I mean, Christianity expects you, if you really want to be a good Christian, you have to marry the church.
Yeah.
You can't marry a woman. You can't
Yeah.
be
Yeah, yeah.
intimate.
Yes.
Intimacy is something which is not religious. Intimacy is dirty.
And then they do it, behind the, what do they
Closed
call
doors.
that thing? The closed. No, what is that? Confession.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not going to go into that detail.
So yeah, that's important. And so Islam gives us so much detail how to spice up the marriage. And as we will learn later that if I can say this, inshallah.
if you're not going to laugh,
No, I'm not going to laugh. Grade 6 is important. Ek hoop maar my maak ek dit nie.
mesmerizing, mind-blowing.
Exactly. This is how we should speak about it, man.
Yeah.
Couples should be speaking to one another about it, man. It shouldn't be like, no, don't speak about that. It should be open discussion. This is what I want. This is what
That's
you
what
want.
I like.
This is what I like. Exactly. And the moment, like if we read the books of fiqh, I don't want to quote what they say, but the stuff that the scholars used to speak about, man, literally everything under the sun that the mind can perceive,
Yeah.
the scholars would speak
Discuss.
about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nay, yay or nay.
Yeah.
I mean, I would say this is
Everything.
okay, this is not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everything, yeah. Tafkhir, they would.
You know, for me, when I read Shaykh Muhammad Jibali's book on intimacy for I was like, yo, is this even to such detail, man?
Yeah.
You know, when was it Salman al-Farisi who said the Prophet taught us everything,
حتى القراءة
Yeah.
until how to
even how
use
to
the
use the
toilet.
toilet.
Yeah.
But I mean, intimacy to
Is
that
also
detail.
included in that, yeah.
Yeah.
If you.
Go for it,
Well,
man.
I-
That's fine. That's fine.
Go for it.
That's fine. That's fine.
Look like this, Roy.
It's the.
And also, women should understand that that when this need is not fulfilled, I've met with
You
people.
can do what? You
Yeah.
can do what?
Wallahi, that's the end. Of
So
that
what
marriage.
you're basically saying, Maulana Ashik, is that nice pot of curry is secondary to. Yeah, it's come up,
Ja, jy kan veilig.
failing.
Ah.
Because that's also an issue, man.
Ah.
That's a new issue now that
Ah.
I've never.
Millennial.
It's a millennial issue.
Ah.
The brother comes and says, Sheikh, the house is dirty.
Ah.
She never cleans. Now there's a standard of clean in his mother's house, and there's a standard of clean in her house because she might come from a home where mother picked up behind her. She might come from a home where there's domestic. Now there's no domestic, no mother, and she's not cleaning. But now you find the house is spotless clean. The food is cooked. I'm not saying this is the duty of. I'm saying
She's doing
she's
all of
doing
those
everything,
things.
but then number
not
3 is not there. Can the
It's not gonna work.
You can be a super Saiyan, super pious person.
Wallahi.
Wallahi, that department is not seen to. That's the death of that marriage. Wallahi, that's the death of that marriage.
Yeah.
You know, everything becomes an issue when that is not fulfilled.
Yeah.
And
You become
unfortunately,
irritated, agitated.
many of our sisters will weaponize this man. Not like, I can't remember you saying it. You know, and that husband, I do a lot of activities with men. I do sports and stuff like that, and I can hear the things that they
tone,
speak.
yeah.
You know,
It's
you
common.
can hear this uncle. Maybe he cannot control his gaze. Why can he not control his gaze? There's a reason for that. This uncle says, when I want to do the deed, you know, ek kry hier rug. Daar's niks vir jou nie. So this is a major issue. A major issue.
You know, I found that amongst serious students of knowledge, sisters now, right? Husbands complaining, and initially they didn't complain. You know, maybe you get a sister, she's married, she starts a hifz, and then she completes, mashallah. Then she goes on to other studies. And then men are complaining that the studies actually come
It's a barrier.
as a barrier for this one. I sit down with my kitab, man. How can you know? I'm sitting with my Surah Yasin, or
Yeah,
I'm doing
man.
my
Surah
morning dhikr.
Uh,
But that's also an ibadah.
that's also the
Yeah.
ibadah.
And it's an
And the-
ibadah that's directly connected to another human being
Yes.
Allah.
and his wellness.
And that is what Rasulullah says, that females must ask permission if she wants to keep fast, and it is not an obligatory fast. She must ask permission because she doesn't know what the husband
Because
has.
the right of the husband is
Yes,
greater, yeah.
Yes.
And so that's not looked at as something rewarded. When the Prophet said, Wafi bud'i
Ahadikum
sadaqah.
sadaqah.
Being intimate with your spouse, there is a
And there's,
sadaqah.
I was listening to a lecture on my way, right? And there are so many words that the Quran uses, man. The Quran says, وَقَدْ أَفْضَى بَعْضُكُمْ إِلَى بَعْضٍ. When you touch one another. أَوْ لَامَسْتُمُ النِّسَاءَ. When you touch them, mutually touch one another. So the Quran and the Sunnah are replete with examples.
And it doesn't shy away from something which is so natural, like
It's part
eating and
of-
drinking. So
Exactly.
eat, drink,
Yeah.
Intimacy.
intimacy.
Exactly, yeah. So, and Allah A'lam, I don't know about you guys now, but I've spoken a lot to like senior people, more senior to me, and they say like, whenever I speak to them, they will tell me, nah, ek praat maar net van die goed, ek doen dit nie meer nie. But when you you know, when you I've read like what's this magazine, popular magazine, Men's Illustrated, right?
Men's health.
Means
Men's Health. Is it Men's Health?
Means out there.
Like a white guy would be, you know, writing an article there. He would say, I'm 70 years old and I'm still intimate with my wife. And I'm like, I know people who are 50 years old
And they hang up the guns.
and intimacy is over. I mean, obviously, there's many reasons for that, you know, our
You
diet,
can understand,
our physical.
it becomes less and it perhaps, you know, it's changes, man. But you
Yeah.
can't say you're not intimate anymore. So
So you stop being a man.
basically,
Yes.
you're not going to hug kiss.
No,
I mean, it's different levels
of intimacy, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely, yeah. And Allah knows best, inshallah. I think this topic can take us, I think the viewers are probably sitting with their notes and pens and stuff like that, making notes. But I mean, this topic can be
Sheikh,
fleshed
I
out.
think, we're not going to get through all what men want. So go on to the next point, inshallah.
Number 4, inshallah. Every female should realize and every woman should realize that men find the opposite gender attractive. Men find other women attractive besides their wives. What do you guys think about that? True or not
It's
true?
a difficult pill to swallow.
I always tell that to my wife. That's the nature Allah created us. Like you said, we are visual beings. Man. It doesn't mean yet every female that you see,
You're interested in.
you're interested, you want to get married. But like, that's why we are motivated by the deen too.
And now, man.
Ik praat nie nou saam.
No, because he made the statement before, and for the whole week I was thinking about it, and
You didn't agree with it,
I didn't agree with it.
is it?
Not because I'm super pious, you know me. You
No,
know,
I
I'm
mean,
not
like-
pious. No,
I know.
no,
Yeah.
because
It's not the false. You're not the
and
false
it's-
sense of
yes.
religiosity.
and it's not gonna be because there's so much viewers that is viewing the thing, but I disagree because for me it's look here. You married your wife because you saw something in her
They didn't
that-
see anybody else.
in anybody else,
Okay, that's fair.
right?
That's fair. Okay.
And I married 20 years.
MashaAllah.
20. So jong
Sy
soos
sê
ek
dat
is.
sy sê dat sy sluk am diep, ek praat dit nie mag het nou. Praat. Man praat en fluister aan oor die mic met ja.
Ik zou weer zien, maar guys. Ik zou
Did
weer
you
zien,
just
maar. Ik zou.
Moulana, go for it. Go
No,
for it.
seriously. I
So
disagree
you,
with
so
it.
you thought about these.
I thought about it and I thought to myself that
Okay, what do you disagree for what I said? Like, what do you
That-
disagree? Like,
that you find other females
Not
attractive,
find in
or
the
you-
sense
or you-
that-
not no or visual beings or looking.
Okay,
or-
Okay.
Yeah,
Now,
yeah.
okay. Let me play devil's
Yeah,
advocate.
yeah,
So
go
what
for
you're
it.
saying, Moulana Ashik, is that a female and a doorknob is not the same,
not definitely.
and a female and a cat and a car is not the same. So you're gonna look. Your eye might.
We are motivated by the deen to lower our gaze
No,
and to be respectful.
I'm not disputing that.
But you
Yeah.
can't say that in 20 years of marriage, never have you thought, yo, subhanAllah, that's a beautiful female. Never.
You just don't
Yeah.
say it.
You just don't say it, yeah.
That's
Okay.
key. That's also respect.
I mean,
respect.
no, I mean, like, our wives are there to assist us, not to do anything that is beyond, and haram. But I mean, like, I don't think, I'm not a robot.
I had to wear though without the collar. This
I'm
No,
not that
I'm
over.
not
My
speaking
varm.
directly to me. You're not
Okay,
speaking
like-
directly.
like
You want to
excuses.
tell me in 20 years of marriage? He's expecting me to answer that.
No, I'm not saying that.
Okay.
Like, I'm saying, like, we are speaking, this is a podcast, right? And we are
Yeah.
being open and we are
Yes,
being
no,
to the
definitely.
point
No,
and we are
no,
being
no,
frank
no.
here.
Yes.
And I'm like,
That's
people,
Frankie.
huh?
That's Frankie.
But us frank here, people might assume these are sheikhs and maulanas, they're on another level.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, we are human beings, right?
Mm.
We are human beings. And we have that hadith. I know this hadith will not sit well with many people. إِذَا رَأَى أَحَدُكُمْ امْرَأَةً, when one of you sees a lady and she amazes him and she
Feel.
attracts him.
Mm.
I'm not going to continue with that hadith.
No, continue.
No,
but
continue.
continue. So you go home and you have the same. You have your wife has what
What
you've
that
seen.
lady has.
What that lady has, your wife has. But obviously, you're not going to tell her. Look,
Yeah, you're not
I was
fit-
warmed up outside and now I'm coming
No,
home.
exactly. That's
Yeah.
disgusting.
That's
to, tell,
disgu- yeah.
to tell your wife that, right? But what I'm saying is, when that's why we are commanded by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to lower our gaze, man, and to be respectful with the opposite gender and to be decent with the opposite gender. Because we were created and they are the greatest fitna of men. Women are the greatest. We are
Yeah.
fitness to one another.
Yeah.
Yes.
ما تركت فتنة هي أضر على الرجال من النساء.
You know what I'm saying?
I've not left a fitna, a trial greater upon men than women.
Yeah.
You guys might be laughing. This is a reality.
Yeah.
Number 2, the Prophet says, ما رأيت من إحدى كنا أذهب للب الرجل الحازم. There's no one that causes a man of a resolute and a stern man to lose his marbles
Crumble.
quicker than that of the opposite gender.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So, this is it's not that we love our wives less.
I understand that part of the hadith as to your wife, because she can take
Yeah,
you to the
no,
highest
definitely.
of high and to the lowest
You
of low.
can look
So-
at the hadith from that perspective,
from-
exactly.
yeah.
But at the end of the day, men battle the urge to stay.
Yeah, it's a battle.
Yeah.
It's a battle.
Okay, if you put it like that,
It sounds.
then it
Okay.
sounds decent.
Yeah.
But if you tell me that
No, obviously not every female.
no,
You know, I just want to like, okay, I'm going to give a practical example. So I lived in Buraida, right? Al Qasim. The
Conservative.
most conservative part of Saudi, in Saudi at its most conservative time.
Yeah.
Right? And then there's this manager of, they have these motels, man, Shaykh Moulana.
Yeah.
In Buraida, nobody, not a single female, a domestic Christian, Jew, Buddhist, has a face open. So everybody wears black. Everybody's face is closed. Most people wear gloves. Most people's eyes are closed. This uncle, this uncle is sitting outside the motel that he manages, and he's staring. Every woman that comes past,
he's staring.
he's staring. What's he staring at? But he's staring. Right? So the woman goes past.
You
No,
watching
boss.
that girl.
Because I love, when you
You're
get there, you love
Sometimes,
it.
sometimes you know what I do. Obviously, with your peripheral vision, you can see someone walking that's not appropriately dressed.
Yeah.
Now I'm looking at the group of guys looking there. Maybe the petulant in the brother.
Don't do it.
No. Then he's shocked because I caught him
Because it's
watching.
actually like staring at.
Yeah.
He doesn't even know he's staring.
That's Alhamdulillah. I think Allah has protected us as Muslim, knowledgeable people of the Deen, and practicing Muslims to the best of our ability. That's a disgusting thing to look at a female like that. I can just.
It's almost like he's salivating. Yeah.
Yeah, and the things that he does in his mind probably at that moment. Allahu A'lam.
I don't want to open a can of worms here, but somebody made a comment the other day. They were on the radio. Maybe I shouldn't say this.
Before Malap, now you must mention it. But you said that uncle is steering.
But once he's staring at me, that's the point. He knows it's a female, but he can't see anything.
There's nothing.
There's nothing he can
Yeah.
see. But he's steering. So I agree with you and I agree with him. Right? Because
It's not like every female you see, I want to go home with that female. It's not that, man.
Did you see that picture of the 4 females in Parda, and then when you go closer, it's umbrellas? Did you
Yeah,
see
I
that?
saw it's
Did you
like
see that?
I saw a picture like that, yeah.
Okay.
It's on Facebook or somewhere, man.
but he was also possibly staring. Man.
Thinking
think
it's
this point is
female.
like- yeah, you don't even know if it is a female.
Yeah,
but
yeah,
you're staring. Sheikh, go on, continue. Inshallah.
Khair, inshallah. Ik hoop maar. Just a disclaimer, inshallah, to our wives, inshallah. Just have mercy on us, inshallah, as we go through these notes, inshallah. Okay.
I
And-
realize there's a nebula.
Number 5. I made Mullah painting very nervous.
Number 5.
What?
Number 5, romance leads to sex.
Yeah.
When a husband showers,
Okay.
when a husband showers his wife with gifts, it's normally something that he's looking forward
He
to.
wants a reward.
He wants to be rewarded.
So it's like, and yeah, my comparison might be a little bit out of the millah here for the men. But then when somebody throws that ball, man, and the dog pitches the ball and comes back, he wants it. Tap. Tap. Good boy. Good. I mean, that's
yeah.
putting it raw, putting it like in its simplest form. You didn't buy the roses for nothing, basically.
Yeah, definitely.
Or you come and you're not used to buying gifts now. Ashik, what will they? Now they know what will they.
Not true.
So yeah, so when there's a romance,
Ah.
the ideal situation for the man is that he actually wants something to come from that. Right?
And,
the gratitude gets shown.
Yeah, in a certain specific way, yeah. Shukr takes the form not only of Alhamdulillah, but also, doing certain things. And that's why I quoted that. You remember what I quoted to you a few weeks back? If I give you my money, then I want you to take my money. So that will leave up, we'll,
To those who,
we won't
who
translate that, inshallah.
Tayyib.
Okay, inshallah.
So there's a desired outcome.
Yeah.
Men can be romantic.
Yeah.
Now I'm gonna ask a
My vrouw
question.
zei altijd, I'm not a romantic. I don't know, what do your wife say?
What do you bring home as a gift? I know the brother.
My thing is this, if I want to dine my wife, I want to take her out to eat. I like eating.
Ja,
Ja,
wat is
Sheikh.
hij,
Brother. Alhamdulillah, I've been blessed with good genes now.
Sheikh,
Keep your opinions to yourself.
we have a colleague, and I'm not going to mention names, right? So he was in the engagement stage.
Okay.
So you come back from holiday and you're about to return to Egypt, Madinah, wherever you're studying. So not everybody always has a car. So there's this one friend that has the car, and he's like the Uber back in the day when there wasn't Ubers. So we meet up with our one friend, and he's like, "Hoe lyk jy vir die ou?" Ek vat hom nou na sy fiancé. Hy sê vir my, "Stop gou by die winkel." Ek koop 'n sakkie lemoene.
Wow. But that's normal.
Sakkie lemoene?
Yeah, that was normal. I mean,
Okay.
this was probably in the
If I
mid-90s.
look at
No, early 2000s.
if I
A
look at
bag of oranges.
I say,
I don't
how-
think that's
Hy
romantic.
so die ou mense het dan nog gekyk het.
if I
You
look
must
at the
understand that.
circle, then I
Oh,
know
I know who
it
that
is.
guy is. I know exactly who that guy is.
But I mean,
This is also the guy that had a cell phone or didn't have a cell phone.
no,
It's not the same guy.
I don't know.
You made the mention about this guy having a cell phone.
Yeah, it's the same guy. Hij brengt nog elke dag lamoentjes koop.
Don't play, man.
Okay, continue.
Okay, inshallah, point number 6. Women, husbands want their wives to make themselves attractive to them.
Okay.
That's
And
important.
I think
They want to see the effort, basically. They want to see the mascara and the surmani oogjes.
but I think that
Lipstick.
goes both ways, right?
Yeah, no, definitely.
Definitely.
Abdullah bin Abbas is, yeah.
It has to go both ways. We're gonna stop at this point, Sheikh. And I think this is especially
We
important.
can, there's one more point, inshallah, then we're done.
Oh, okay. Especially important for the sisters that perhaps are practicing sisters. man. So you'll see the other women that don't cover, they'll be in the salon all the
Yeah.
time because they go
They-
to work like that and the hair must hang and stuff. So that doesn't mean that when a sister wears abaya, and many people think that whoever wears the jilbab with abaya outside wears it in the house.
yeah.
All right. What we're saying is it shouldn't be like that.
Mm.
And we should. And as men, we're also going to. You talk about the salabruki and the vest,
Yes.
Yeah.
and that's
That's
like the
another
go-to. That's like the go-to. thing.
Salabroekie wat al cream getrek het.
It's the go-to thing, man. You take your thumb off, and then you should go sleep in that, and that's how you watch TV. That's how you water the grass.
Everything. Yeah.
Kijk daar nou nog een missie met een zippie. Wat hem gaat erin. 2010.
So grooming,
That's inappropriate.
grooming.
Grooming, yeah. Needs to be there because a man wants to see the effort being made.
I mean, Sheikh, if body odor is a massive thing.
It is,
It's a
yeah.
big thing. It puts you off. I mean, how can you come home? Okay, obviously you worked, right? But if work is different, but I mean, if you did physical work, there's gonna be maybe
Yeah.
certain.
But anyways, the day takes its toll on you. You just
But what was the sunnah of the Prophet? He take out his miswak,
Clean his
right?
mouth, yeah.
And when he didn't even wear clothing that would make him sweat because he didn't want to have
Yeah.
that body
and
odor.
by the way,
because-
that the sweet of Rasulullah
Exactly.
Yeah.
His sweat was like musk, but he
And he
didn't.
perfumed himself.
But for him, obviously, he felt the sweat, man. Whoever smelled it, it smelled like perfume.
Yeah.
But he felt
Yeah, the sweat.
Sweet.
sticky,
Yeah.
like yucky.
Yeah.
Right? And then he stopped wearing that certain garment because of that. So now we won't now go buy new socks.
Gatte
Because
kouse, ja.
gatte kouse, gatte onderbroekies, skimp on the roller because we need to buy whatever else.
Yeah, that's
right?
true.
Like the Prophet, I mean, that was one of the Prophet's
But then
enjoyments,
Mm.
the perfume.
Yeah, definitely.
For me, like
I know Sheikh Yusuf is a connoisseur when it comes to.
I won't say a
Wow.
connoisseur. I that's for the visitors.
Oh,
That's not mine. That's
je
for
kan
the,
nog nooit het gebruik hè?
that's for
Yeah,
the
was it
visitors.
then?
So I
Allah.
I often get the question: you have sinus, you're a sinus sufferer. How do you handle oud? How do you handle perfume? Doesn't do anything to me. A flower petal, a little cut grass, maak my demak. But perfume, I think, alhamdulillah.
So I think as marriages progress and then people become comfortable with one another and they just don't care, man, about.
But I mean, there's this
It's
self-respect, man. Sheikh.
perhaps not.
How do you feel if
It's also the
It's
type
also-
of person that you are. Man. If you're a person that is nonchalant about yourself,
Yeah.
then we can now speak to you 1,000 times. You're nonchalant.
But I mean, it's not like body odors. It's like maybe the way they dress.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
yeah, okay, they become comfortable. So on a
Comfortable
Saturday,
way. Comfortable way.
he'll stay in his PJs. He'll shower, put on fresh PJs.
But we all deserve a PJ day.
Of course. A kot motopida.
You get
But not every day, man.
Stripe toppy.
But I mean, there's like I mean, when you go into ihram, there are certain things you can't do. You can't cut your nails. You can't cut your hair. You can't apply perfume. And for most of us, we just wanna, once we're done, we feel relief once we cut our hair, and we apply that perfume, because there's that certain level of personal hygiene that you want to maintain. It's for yourself, man.
So you're saying some Buddhas, they operate like they're in ihram.
Permanent muhrimin. Permanent.
Khair, inshallah. Last point, inshallah. Point number 7. How many? Are we going over time? Okay. Men need the alone time, cave time. That's super important. I think I struggled with that. The fact that we sometimes, that's me now again.
Are you saying you struggled making time for cave time?
No.
Or you struggled trying to
convince
explain
my wife,
to your wife?
to explain to my wife.
It's not that you don't want to be with her.
Yeah, like I'll say, maybe you're going to your Madinah, I'm gonna go. I want to be alone at home. For like, especially on a Friday after Jummah, that's perfect time for me.
Switch of time.
Switch of time. Sometimes I go sleep. Sometimes I watch stuff. Maybe just go on YouTube and stuff like that. I love that time. I actually look forward the whole week for that.
And it's not that you don't want to be with your family.
You just need that.
But I think on the flip side, they also want that.
Yeah.
We'll
That's
come to the ones and stuff like that, inshallah,
He's
next week.
strict though. He's like this, like
He's
it's
like-
the all male thing today.
Yeah.
This male.
No, but
No,
he's-
if you speak, it's difficult, man. If you speak about the one and then you speak, the viewers don't know that we're gonna speak about that still,
No,
and
that's
we
next
might
week.
that's next week,
yeah,
inshallah.
and we might miss it. So if we touch on it, it's not gonna hurt anyone.
I think
You can have your cave time. We're not taking your cave time away from you. I
think
know you're
cave time,
big on cave
you know,
time.
Shaykh Moulana Ebrahim, I think cave time is a problem for the sisters, because they think what we do is we complain about home. Man. It's like you want to get away from home to have an outlet, just like, yo, die is so vrouwen so bad.
It's not that, yeah.
What do we discuss?
Lach julle
It's
dag,
just
joh.
Mag ik zeker lachen,
You
ja.
know, I mean, we it depends on obviously
The company that you keep.
Yeah, the company that you keep. We would probably speak about some type of mas'ala. It wouldn't
Where-
really
where-
interest
where-
them.
where would we go?
Where would we go?
Yeah.
For cave time?
Yeah.
To an eating place.
Okay, and then when we get there and the menu is not suitable, then where would we go there?
We'd go to another place, and if the place is dirty,
Sit in the parking lot.
and if you're with me, you might have to go to 3 places before you actually eat. No, I mean, yeah. Even that we're indecisive about
Yeah.
it. And yeah. So when we get together, it's not a complaining
Session.
marathon or complaining session. We speak about work.
Yeah.
We speak, and we really can't switch off. We want to switch. That cave time is to switch off, but we end up speaking about work. Anyway, when we meet up with work colleagues. So in a nutshell, we're very simple people. We want to be respected.
Go for it.
We want to be satisfied intimately. When we are romantic, we have the hope of
Very subtle.
having it in intimacy. Oh, like we're very basic cavemen.
Very logical.
We're very
straightforward,
logical, Mr.
robotic.
We can do the same thing every day
Every day.
without being bored. We can wear the same clothing every day. Like you have the same pair of tackies in different colors. Have the same thobe in different
Straightforward.
colors. Wear the same coffee. Eat the same food.
Yeah, definitely.
So, but generally, this is what men want: intimacy. They want to be respected. They want a bit of alone time, and they also want their partner to look nice for them. And another question: if we want all the Sheikh, how do we receive it?
What do you mean?
How do we get this? We want intimacy, but now we've said that the sister, she can't just be ready now. It starts from the time that you walk in, and we'll end on this point before we get to the list. So it starts from the time you walk in. To get, you need to give. Who starts?
I think if you want it, you need to start it.
Okay, so she's gonna say no, but you wouldn't. Is this the first thing that you're gonna speak to me about? You didn't ask me how my day was.
Yeah, straight
You
to
didn't tell me I look pretty today. You didn't. It's like straight. Look here.
Yeah.
Fulfill my needs. So what you're saying is, Moulana Ebrahim, you have 3 years more experience than me.
No, I'm just you. You must keep the pot simmering.
Mm.
So you have a phone. She has a phone. You have conversations during the day. We speak to our wives during the day, and you.
And your wife can see you
Yeah.
online, but you didn't speak to her, so you speak
Ek
to.
bloed
Yeah.
nog also my.
Yeah.
Ek bloed van my.
So yes,
So you.
this in a nutshell is what men want, and what we would want to receive from our spouses. And so when we want to give, we need to keep the pot simmering and start from even before arriving home. Closing remarks, inshallah.
I hope the viewers, inshallah, enjoyed our program today or tonight, this evening. Just a small request from all the mashayikh and the brothers behind the computers. Like, subscribe, and share, inshallah. So what you do now after this, inshallah, you click like, you share it on your Facebook page, whatever,
WhatsApp,
whatever. Send it to people, send it far and wide, inshallah, and subscribe to the YouTube channel, inshallah. And we make dua to Allah Azza wa Jal that He grants us good marriages.
Amen.
And that He blesses us and He makes our wives a qurrat a'yun, a coolness to our eyes. And that Allah Ta'ala keeps us married, until we leave this dunya.
And we are reconnected with each other. Some sisters were saying, no, that's Jannah. Can you straf kry that?
I'm still deciding. No, I think I'm just gonna go and return back to the disclaimer that we're not claiming to be experts, or this isn't
us claiming to be the best husbands.
The best husbands, or a mere reminder to ourselves, inshallah. And we also take benefit from this and take benefit from each other. Besides the humor and all of that, there's always a message behind the humor and within the humor, inshallah. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make that message a reality in our lives as well, inshallah, and everybody else that is viewing and listening. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant us khair and barakah in our lives, inshallah.
After that insightful closing remark, there's nothing more for me to say than join us next week, inshallah ta'ala, when we look at what women want and how we as men need to check that list, accommodate that list, inshallah ta'ala. And so when everybody gets what they want, basically the ship will sail smoothly, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Assalamu alaikum wa barakatuh.
هلا بالخميس هلا بالخميس ويكند عيال هلا بالخميس هلا بالخميس هلا بالخميس ويكند عيال هلا بالخميس